All right, welcome to the next episode of Voice AI podcast, where we discuss the future of Voice AI. Today, I'm super excited to host Neil Hammerton, who is the CEO and founder of Natterbox. Neil, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, David. Very nice to be here. Grateful for the opportunity.
Absolutely. Let me just quickly describe what Natterbox does. So Natterbox is a London-based company founded in 2009, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. Specializing in AI-powered contact center solutions, fully integrated with Salesforce. It provides cloud-based telephony services, including call routing, recording, and analytics to enhance customer experiences and boost productivity for Salesforce-first businesses. And I guess lately you started also going into voice AI agents, correct? And I'm very excited to talk about that as well. Was that a good summary, or you want to add more to that?
Yeah, no, it's pretty good. It's pretty good for a summary. So we started in 2009. The original goal remains true today, which is to improve customer experience for users that contact suppliers and partners and so forth. We started out with just voice, and today we have voice and digital, so SMS, WhatsApp, chat, etc. Initially, obviously, 15 years ago, 16 years ago, it was a contact center solution. And the goal was, when someone called into a business, try and route the call directly to the most relevant person or agent to handle that. So how would you know who's the most relevant? So in contact center, you have things like skills-based routing. So if the person calling in says, presses 1 for support, you try and then the support is around a dishwasher or something, you would try and route the call to the most relevant agent. What we decided to do was to go one step further and say, well, hang on a second. If we can see the caller's telephone number and we can query a CRM system, then we should be able to get a profile of the person calling. And we know they've got a dishwasher they've just bought from us, or they've bought from us in the past, and we know what model that is. So now let's look up who's the best agent to handle a support query and route the call to that agent direct. And that gave us a huge advantage over traditional sort of IVR systems, just to eliminate call queue times and so forth. You mentioned in your summary that we linked to Salesforce. When we started, we planned to link to every CRM system, but then we quickly discovered in the first few years that pretty much all of our customers were using Salesforce. And in hindsight, it was pretty obvious. Salesforce is a premium cost CRM system. So people generally go for that system when they really care about customer experience and customer service. So it kind of made logical sense that that's where our customer base was. So we dropped investment into other CRMs and focused exclusively on Salesforce, which has served us very well. And then we move into AI. Maybe I'll take a pause.
Yeah, no, I think that this is great. So yeah, it's actually first time that I've seen a company like focusing on like one CRM, but I think Salesforce is so large, right, as an ecosystem, that like if you nail that and be an amazing add-on on Salesforce, that makes so much sense, right? Is the product experience entirely within Salesforce, or there is a separate experience as well?
Yeah, so we used to have an admin interface outside of Salesforce, but with our investment, we embedded everything. So it's called native, it's Salesforce native. So a customer of ours would log into their CRM as an admin and configure the CRM and any other add-ons they've got, Marketing Cloud, etc. But they would also go into the communication section, and all the Natterbox config is there. So the benefits of that, obviously, a single place to log in makes it easier for people. But more importantly, you can integrate with other objects in Salesforce. So we're not limited in the call flow to just what's in the telephony system. We're able to interrogate anything in any object in any field and use that information for routing the call and capturing. So once the call's finished, we are able to take summaries of the conversation and populate them directly into the CRM against the relevant contacts. And obviously with AI now, that's dramatically changed and improved.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard that Salesforce is investing a lot in the agent force, and that's their new most important initiative, right? So I guess this fits very well with your vision of AI, right? How Can you share like how those things play with each other? And have you already deployed like Salesforce Agentforce based agents within your product? And if yes, how does it work? That's very interesting actually.
Yeah, it's a good question, and one we get asked quite a lot, to be honest with you. It's important to have this distinction. We are not a company producing AI agents on their own, standalone. What we have got fundamentally in the value that we offer is the routing platform. So we provide global telephone numbers, for example, if you use voice. So you can get phone numbers from anywhere in the world on our platform, and you can then configure what happens when someone rings those numbers. So if the endpoint is a human, then that's a contact center solution. If the endpoint happens to be an AI agent, then we route the call to the AI agent. And that AI agent can be a Natterbox generic one that we've got, or it can be a third-party one, such as Agentforce. So we're able to route SMS, WhatsApp, and voice traffic to Agentforce or to our own agents. But this is the key exciting bit that we've got is imagine you ring into a real business and, using that example about dishwasher, you speak to someone about dishwasher and they say, oh, by the way, I'm also interested in buying a toaster from you. So whether you're speaking to a human that's solving your technical query or an AI agent that's solving that technical query, they may not be equipped or trained to talk to you about the benefits of which toaster. So they now have to transfer that call somewhere. And that's where we come in. So not only can we transfer the call because we're listening with AI to what's going on, we can trigger, let's now transfer the call. If it's a human, we can pop on the screen. We recommend that you transfer the call to Bob down the road. Click here if you want to do that. So the human says, look, I'm going to transfer you to my colleague Bob, who's available, and he knows about toasters. You click the button, off he goes. Or the AI does exactly the same. Says, I'm going to transfer you to Bob in sales. He can help you. We then transfer to Bob. Whether Bob's an AI agent or a human agent is irrelevant to us. But the key thing is we put a summary on the screen if it's a human, or we inform obviously the AI agent what's happened so far in the conversation that caller's had. So if the caller says, oh, I'm interested in a toaster, I've just had a nightmare situation with my washing machine or dishwasher, then the agent's able to say, oh yeah, but I'm glad that Sam, the AI agent, was able to fix it for you and send you a replacement part and get the engineer booked. Anyway, let's talk about your toaster. So it's a fluid conversation.
Yeah.
And that's what our platform is delivering, the ability to route the call to the appropriate person or agent and pass the context of the call in as many hops as necessary. And at the end of the call, put all that information into the CRM. So next time that person calls, we can retrieve all that information and pass that to, if it is answered by an AI agent, the AI agent. So they've got the whole context, the history of that particular person. Is that clear?
So I think this is amazing actually. So like from voice and like phone interactions perspective, right? I think the two biggest problems today are wait time, right? Like people calling and then waiting for like a human agent to be available to take the phone call. And second are these context, lost contacts when people are transferred from one agent to another agent and then you need to tell your story again. It's like just so annoying, right? It seems like you because you're focused on Salesforce and like integrated into Salesforce so much, right? You can definitely solve the second problem like really well by giving this context and routing and not only routing, but also giving the context so well. Does your no, but this makes a lot of sense. I love it. Does yours? So it means that Natterbox basically listens to every conversation, like real time. Is that the case, or you do it like post call? Like how does it work?
Yeah, so I think the benefit of us being in business for 15 years and building our own technology stack from the root, from the ground upwards, basically means that we have got a lot of experience recording calls. So we're used to recording every conversation the customer wishes us to, or only selective parts and populate that. So to now transition across to listen, if you like, live with the AI was a smallish step for us. I'm sure our engineers would disagree with me, but from my point of view, it's a small step. But this is the key, right? If we move into what's the challenges that we see in the market today, it's a bit like people go, oh my God, this sounds very human-like. The interactions are good, the interruptibility, etc., which is a key part. But is that AI agent any good at solving the call? And how does it know the information to solve the customer's query? So what would we do with humans? We'd give them initial training when they start work, but then we would sit them in a room next to people with experience, let them overhear and let them ask conversations like, oh, this bloke asked about the kilowatts in a toaster. How do I find that information? And a colleague would say, oh, mate, you look here, or this is what the information is. So what we do is we listen to all the conversations. When there's a good resolution, we flag that, we feed that back into the AI agents for them to learn. So constantly the AI agents are getting on the job updates and training. So it's not just static information they're provided with at the start to train them. And that means that call resolution rates continue to go up. So when we started, we were looking at, in an inbound customer service situation, 65% was our benchmark good. But we're now finding we're getting 80-90% call resolution rates because the AI is constantly learning from conversations that its human colleagues are having as much as its AI colleagues.
Even resolution rate of AI agents.
Yeah, solving inbound questions and queries.
Yeah, that's amazing. All right, that sounds great, Neil. Like, yeah, can you talk about, because you have so much visibility, I think, into these AI agents and like this particular, like I think the most important problems, right? So basically, you do tackle these two important problems. One is the wait time, because since there are call resolutions handled by your AI agents, obviously this impacts the wait time in a positive way for customers, right? Because at least like the easier calls your AI agents can take care of. Sorry, and then you also like pass the contact, so that should improve the CSAT and everything. Like, where is this all going from your perspective, right? So, like, and also from agent force perspective, maybe from Salesforce perspective, where do you think we are going to go as an industry? Like, given like where the state of AI is, what their capability. I mean, obviously these are not perfect systems today, right? There are a lot of issues with them. But can you like project next 2-3 years and share your thoughts? What's going to change, and how fast it's going to change,
Well,
or
that's
slow?
a very difficult question, Dave, as you well know. I mean, it's where's it going to go in the next 2 to 3 months, really? I mean, 2 to 3 years is amazingly long in this industry.
You can start
Um,
with 3 months.
okay. So for me, we're seeing two very distinct situations out there with real customers. So our existing customers that are transitioning across to AI. So our focus today or this year has been, let's focus on our existing customers, educate them to the benefits AI can bring them, and get them transitioned before we really actively go out to the wider market next year. What we're seeing is twofold. One, we've got the customers that go, oh my God, we can make massive savings here and improve productivity by, in effect, eliminating half of our human workforce and putting AI in instead. And we've got other customers that are, well, I've heard a lot about AI, but we're not going to implement it because our customers want to speak to humans. So in both situations, well, the second one, the answer is really simple. So that's absolutely fine. It's a human first approach to answer your phone calls. But what happens if you've got 100 agents, they're all on the phone, and the 101st person calls in? Would you like your customer to listen to hold music for 15 minutes? Or would you like an AI agent to say to them, hi, there's no humans available. I can try and help you. If not, I can stay on the call and chat to you. Or if you really prefer, I can give you classical hold music, and give the caller the choice. Now, maybe they say, well, I've got nothing to lose. I'll chat to this AI robot thing. And maybe it solves the query. So what you're able to do then is eliminate hold times. And the second point we always point out to customers is, but you're only open 9 to 5. What if you're, let's take another example, dentists. You wake up in the morning at 3 a.m, you ring your dentist to see if you can get an emergency appointment, and you get a message that says, we're open at 8:30, call back. You ring back 8:30 and the dentist says, oh, we've only got one appointment left today and it's now, but where are you? And you're half an hour away, you can't get there. But if you phoned at 2, 3 in the morning and AI answered and you told it your problem, it could say, can you get here for 8:30? And of course you'd say yes. Now you've got your appointment. So the experience is better. But if you're phoning up to do a complex query and talk about maybe another example, maybe detailed life insurance and wealth planning, you may not be comfortable discussing that with an AI. You want to have a human meeting and maybe even face to face. So I think the important answer here is it depends on AI's got its place, where it can add value to both the consumer and it can add value to the business agents. So I know this wasn't exactly your question, David, but this is a really interesting fact. What we're seeing is we're seeing a reduction in churn in contact centers that use AI appropriately. So because the agents, rather than constantly answer the query to, we've got one customer where most of their inbound inquiries is, what time do you open? What time do you open? To the point that the customer deliberately put the phone number for calling them below in bold letters, we open at 9 o'clock every day. But they still get the calls saying, what time do you open? It's amazing. So because the agents get fed up with this repetitive, they get a high churn in their contact center. But by getting AI to answer the calls and say, can you tell me why you're calling? And the person says, well, but see what time you open tomorrow. AI says, we open at 9 o'clock. Can I help you with anything else? They go, no, thanks, bye, and put the phone down. The agents now get only quality calls to deal with. So churn reduces. So everybody's happy, right? So but it's putting AI in the appropriate manner in each business is the key thing.
Yeah,
And that's, I think, where it needs to go.
yeah, I 100% agree with it. Like I see a lot of companies actually like tackling that exact use case, right? These are simple use cases, but I mean, if I took my phone and placed the call, like there's a lot of people. I might check the website first, but a lot of people are not gonna check the website to understand and to see that they already placed the call, right? So they expect a good customer experience from the other side, and we can do that with easier effort, right? Easier energy, and by not involving humans and leaving humans to tackle more interesting problems. Like that makes just so much sense, right? And I think that's where the industry is going. And I think like your answer to like what's going to happen in the next, I don't know, from 3 months to 2 years is like one by one, we're going to start adding more and more such use cases that the AI can handle, right? And so the scope of what AI can do is going to increase. It's not going to, in my view, like it's not going to, solve be able to solve like all these different use cases. But it's just going to, the scope is going to grow, and the economy is going to grow that AI serves. And I think you guys are in an amazing place and position to have an impact there.
Thank you. I mean, two other things. I mean, just to touch on that as well. Personalization is a big area we're seeing. So we've seen this before with humans. So what we have done in the past, if there's somebody calls in and they're, for example, from Northern England, we'll try and route the call to somebody who's based in North of England, because then they might be identify with the weather and local towns they're familiar with and so forth. The obvious one being, if somebody calls in from a French phone number, we would try and route the call to an agent that speaks French, because there's a high chance the caller is a French person. So that's like skills-based routing as a category. With AI, it's very similar. So obviously we can answer in French or German or English, whatever language, with the voice AI that we wish. But more importantly than that is the way in which you answer. Does the AI answer the call, good afternoon, how may I help you? Does it answer the call, hello, David, how are you today? How can I help you? Or does it answer the call, good day, mate, how's it going? How familiar does it get? So some people prefer the very casual approach. Some people like the more formal approach. So if you can capture that information and you capture that from the initial call, where the AI listens to the call, works out what the person's preferences are, store that in the CRM system so you can retrieve that, because then it's available for the humans to see as well, if they're in the contact center record, or the AI for future calls. And that is super exciting and powerful. And we've done a lot of work with that. And it's actually quite humorous. Like, I personally enjoy talking to our AI, because I've managed to, it knows that I like a very informal approach with a little bit of cheekiness. So it will actually be cheeky. If I call it, it'll go, oh, about time you called again, Neil. I was wondering where you were. It's like that to me. It's quite funny.
Nice. Yeah, no, I really love the idea that basically two things, right? You guys have been focusing on call routing, and you're focused on Salesforce, I think these two things gives you a great advantage because you are deeply integrated into the CRM. You know every detail of it, and also you're basically in the top of the stack, right, chain, because you're doing the call routing, so you can see everything. That's awesome. Neil, like very happy for you guys. And well, thanks so much for coming today and then sharing your insights.
No, it's a pleasure. Thank you for having me. Take care.